Hello everyone and welcome to this another episode of 3D prototyping in Unity. My name is Kasanis. In the last episode we went through and built ourselves a garage door. We built ourselves a complex asset simply out of primitives. Okay, that episode went a little tiny bit long. It probably went double or triple the amount of time it should have. So in this episode, guys, we're going to build another triggered object. We're going to build another triggered asset, an elevator. All right, it's going to go into our warehouse, into our garage, and allow our player to escape from the depths that they fall into. Now, this one here is going to be slightly different. First of all, I'm not going to go into the detail I went into last time. I am going to go through just a couple of simple things and the code itself. I'll leave the rest to you guys as an exercise. It's basically very, very similar to what we did with the garage door. All right, we're going to take a look at creating the animation again. We're going to take a look at writing the code and a little bit of audio, but that's pretty much it. All right, so let's get started. Okay, guys, so I've already gone through and built this thing that I've called elevator asset. All right, it's divided up into a couple different pieces. We've got our elevator base right here, or the actual casing of it, and we've got ourselves an elevator here. And basically, the elevator is designed to go up and down inside of this slot. Once again, everything was built in a 3D package, and then I imported it into Unity. All right, it was built and textured and everything in a 3D package, and then imported into Unity. You guys know how to do that. You've already done it a couple of times. Okay. Additionally, what I did add to the actual elevator itself, so this part of the asset right here, I added a couple of different things. First of all, I added a box collider at the back along this bar right here, and I made this layer shootable, and that way our player can't shoot past here. I have also added in a elevator audio source. Great, so that's going to make a noise now. And I've added in another trigger, a box collider trigger. And I put that onto the ground of the elevator right there. Whenever the character walks into this trigger, what I want to happen is for the elevator to go back up. After a certain amount of time, I want the elevator to come back down. Okay, and that's the plan. Last thing here, underneath this compound component here, is a secondary elevator, and all I've got on there is a floor. It probably wasn't necessary to do it this way. I did. That's how it came in, and I just built it this way. It's simply got a box collider, and that box collider is the floor itself, and I made that box collider the ground. Now, doing so allows me to shoot this section back here, but it also allows me to jump up and down on this section here, which is what we want to do. All right, we want to make sure that we can actually jump up and down and do all of our animation. I probably want to set my, which I haven't done yet, my slippery physics material so my character operates in exactly the same way. All right, and we've got ourselves a couple things I do want to take a look at here. I mentioned in the elevator itself, we've got ourselves an audio source. And what we want to make sure that we do, I didn't mention this in the last episode, and I can't remember, first of all, if I mentioned it in the audio episode as well. We've got ourselves an audio source right here. I don't want to play on awake because I want the audio to only play when I actually make it so. Down here is a spatial blend option. All right, the spatial blend option allows us to go from 2D, which basically means ignore distance from the camera, to 3D. And by dragging it like that, we're putting it at 1, we go into 3D. 3D takes into account the distance from the camera. And you're going to really have to play with these numbers to kind of get what you want the sound to be like. I know that in most cases my audio source is less than 20 units away from the actual camera when in line. So I'm going to set my maximum distance to 20. And I'd like to drag this downwards like that, so it's at 0 at 20. And then I go through and I remove several of these. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Control Z. I go through and I remove several of these actual things here. I move this out a bit so we get some sound where we want to, and I move this one over as well so I get some sound where I want to. And basically I'm just going to go through now and adjust this so that my sound is the way I like it when we are whatever distance away from the actual camera. Move this down a little bit, and let's put this back to 1 and adjust this a little bit. Basically, what this is showing a drop off. So if we are X distance away, we are going to get sound of an appropriate level. All right. I'm not sure if I actually mentioned this in the audio. I can't remember, to be honest, because I made it a long time ago. I just want to make sure I mentioned it again here. All right, so this should give me the kind of audio that the way I want to hear my actual audio. So it's going to drop off relatively quickly as we move a distance away from the actual camera or from the actual source. All right, when the camera moves away from the actual source, our audio will drop off relatively quickly. Okay, so that's all I want to say about the audio itself. Make sure that if you've got 3D sound all the way to the right, and then you can use this section down here. Okay, and like I said previously in the other episodes, I am not an audio guy. I just try my best to make my audio sound good. All right, if you are making a project on your own, that's all you can really do. If you're not, having an audio person on your team is probably a pretty darn good idea. All right, guys, so we got to take a look at a few different things today. We have to take a look at code to make this elevator work, and we have to take a look at building the actual animation to make the elevator go up and down. Okay, so I want to create the elevator animation now, and it's really simple, same way we did it before. I'm going to set up my animation states, so in animation, I'm going to say create, and I've got my top elevator actually selected, and I'm going to say create. It's automatically going to add for me a brand new animation controller over here, and we're going to add a number of different states. Let's start off with the elevator down state, and I'm basically going to have two states, elevator down and elevator up, and I'm going to set up a timing so that this thing will go when the character steps on, the elevator will go to the top, and it'll stay up there for a specific amount of time, and then the elevator will go down. All right, so let's save that. Bam. Now, elevator up and down, really easy. So I've got elevator down set up here. I'm going to set up add my property. I'm going to add a transform. I'm going to add the positional information, and let's suggest that this elevator takes 2 seconds. All right, so it's going to take 2 seconds to go up. So let's drag it over. Let's drag this thing. Drag it over, and let's set this up on 2 seconds. All right, so right here. Let's say the elevator goes up in 2 seconds. All I'm going to do is set my elevator at the top. Let's see. Right here. Now, you can go through and add additional animation. I haven't gone through and actually corrected any of my animation from the last episode yet. I'm just going to say it goes up to there. All right, and you can have it be a slow in or anything else you want. To do so, you can go into your curves. Let's take a look at doing it. Anyway, so let's go back here. Let's stop the actual recording. And if I take a look, if I go back down to my 0 state, come on, move over you. Scroll out here. All right, if I go to my 0 state, my elevator is down at the bottom, and if I scroll across, it goes to the top. All right, and it just kind of goes like that. You can go through and you can adjust your curves. Right now, the curves themselves are not a slow in or slow out. If you want to make them, just flatten these out. So I can just say flat, and on this one here, I can say flat. So that's basically going to give me a slow in and slow out. Principles of animation and all, you know. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do. Because I'm pretty darn lazy. All right, so that works the way I want it to. It goes up. All right, you could have it go to the top and bob up and down a little bit if you wanted to and go through a settle and put in proper animation if you really wanted to. I'm not going to bother right now. All I'm going to have to do is go to the top like that. I'm then going to add in a second one called create new clip, and I'm going to have it called elevator up. Elevator up. All right. Save. I think I reversed the names of these. Oh well. All right, and I'm going to once again add a property, and I'm going to say transform, and all I'm going to do is move it back into my original position. So it starts in the up position, and I want it to go into after 1 second, or whatever amount of time you want. Let's back this off for now and just put it at 2 seconds, so it takes 2 seconds to drop as well. You guys can change that value if you want to. I'm going to add in my position already, and I'm going to go take a look and see what my zeroed position was. Elevator down, the 0 position was actually at, let's go to the top here, and once again, I know I'm going to write them down this time, because last time I had to try to remember, and these are terrible numbers, 0.47433, 6 decimal, I'm only changing the y actually, 6.46479, and minus 10.107. All right, so let's go back to our elevator up. And on our 0th position, we're going to change our values. The only one I have to actually change is this one here to 6 decimal 4, 6, 7, 9. All right, that is now zeroed out. Everything else is exactly the same, and I can stop recording. So now I've got both an up and a down. All right, my elevator moves down. Let's go in and change our curve. So again, we've got our slow, we've got our flat, and we've got our slow in and our slow out flat. Great. All right, now let's take a look at our actual animator now. Let's go into our animator over here. We've got our elevator down and our elevator up state. I think I want to start off with my elevator in the down state, so I'm going to leave that as the. Let's stop this. I'm going to leave that as the actual default state that we start off in. But I'm going to make my transition from the elevator down to elevator up, and from elevator up to elevator down. I'm also going to go in and add a parameter again, and once again, I'm going to make this a trigger. All right. I'm going to do it this very, very similar to how I did the other ones as well. It's going to be a simple trigger. And let's just call this activate elevator. Elevator. All right, great. Activate elevator. Okay, and whenever we activate elevator, we want to switch from one state to the other. So let's go to here. Let's go. Why am I not switching over? Let's go to here. And let's, we don't want door trigger in this. What? I clicked on door. Elevator. Click on here. Boom. I actually want to go over here and make sure that my list says activate elevator. Great. And let's just move this to the front. Bam. And this one here, also activate elevator. Let's move this to the front. And activate elevator. All right, so all that's really going to happen here is whenever, oh, and let's, in both cases, let's make sure we turn off our has exit time. Has exit time gets turned off. All right, so in both cases here, what we're basically going to do is our elevator will start moving in the opposite direction as soon as we activate elevator. Okay, so our animation is done. Now we've got to write our code. So let's go right back to our actual elevator right here, and we are going to go in here. We're done with our audio clip, our audio source. I'll shut that down for now. Oh, make sure plan awake is off. Make sure plan awake is off. Good, it is. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a component, and I'm going to add a brand new script. And let's call this one here elevator controller. All right, great, and let's open it up. Now, basically how I want the elevator to work, it opened up in the wrong spot, let's bring it over. Basically how I want this elevator to work is I want the elevator to, when the character steps onto the elevator, I want the elevator to begin its motion upwards. I want it to stay at the top for a specific amount of time, and then I want the elevator itself to drop back down into its original position. This ensures that whenever my player falls into that hole that I was worried about before, they can always get out. All right, it might take a little bit of time. They may have to deal with whatever's down there, but the elevator will always come back. Okay, if you wanted to, you could make a more complex option where the elevator is called by the player. It's not too much more difficult to do, and maybe we'll take a look at that in a future episode. But for now, let's get going on what we're going to do today. I'm going to need a couple of things. First of all, I want to have a public float, and this is going to be called reset time, and it's going to be basically how much time the elevator starts at the top of the top of its position. All right, and we're going to have an animator. We need access to our animator. It can just be a private animator, and we'll call it elevator elevanim. It's probably perfectly fine. We're going to need our audio source, and we'll call it elev audio source. AS is perfectly fine, and let's suggest a float our downtime. All right, and now we're going to also need whether or not the elevator is up or down. All right, so elevator down, whether or not it's up or down. So I need a bool, and we'll call it elev is up. All right, and we'll set that equal to false to begin with, because as I mentioned before, I want my elevator to start in the down state and then to go upwards afterwards whenever the player triggers it. Okay, let's go into our start. And in our start, let's go through and find a couple of things. First of all, we're going to try and find our elev animation, which is going to be get component, and we are looking for our animator. Great. All right. Oops, bam. And we are also going to try and find our audio source. So our elev as is once again equal to get component, and we are looking for our audio source. Great. All right. Now, after that, that's all we really need in our start function. That's all we really need. We have to find those two objects, and otherwise we're perfectly fine. Don't know why my animator didn't turn blue here. Something's not right, and we're going to find out what it is in a little bit. This animator also did not turn blue, which is making me a little bit nervous. Anyway, let's go on and see what happens. Sometimes there's graphical issues with this. Okay, so first thing we want to do is we want to go in and we want to add our void on trigger enter. So once again, we want whenever our character enters this trigger location, we want it to actually move up. So it's going to be a collider, and we're just going to call it other, as is pretty much standard. All right. Now, first of all, we want to check and see if it's the player. Otherwise, we don't want the elevator to go up. So the elevator can kind of act as an escape hatch for our player. If there's zombies or enemies or whatever on it, then of course, then the zombies will ride up. But the zombies themselves can't trigger this. So first thing we're going to check is if the other tag is equal to quotations player. And if it is, great, we can go through and work our elevator. Now, what we want to do is we want to set our trigger first of all to make this thing operate. Elevator. And what did I call it? I called it elevator anim. Elev anim, which is not kicking in, which is making me a little more nervous as we go forward. Elev anim is equal to, is equal to set trigger. We want to do our set trigger. And this is going to kick our elevator into motion. And what did we call it? We called it quotations activate elevator, I think. Let's just double check. Activate elevator. Yes, that's what we called it. Bam, bam. So first thing we're going to have is we're going to have the actual elevator start moving upwards. All right. Next thing we want to do is we want to set the downtime. So downtime. So when is the actual elevator coming back down? It's going to be equal to the current time dot time plus our reset time. All right, reset time. All right, so the elevator is going to come down after a particular amount of time. Now, elevator up is going to be equal to true. Elev is up is going to now be equal to true because the elevator is moving up. And lastly, we want to make sure we play our audio so we get our noise as the elevator moves up. Elev as dot play, and we're going to play the audio source that we currently have there. Okay, and that's all we really want to happen. Close off our if statement, and we are good to go there. Now, we have to make some changes to the update in this situation because our elevator itself, we want it to come back down after a certain amount of time. So the first thing we're going to check is if our downtime is less than or equal to our current time dot time. And we're also going to check, so ampersand, whether or not we're in the up state. So if we're not, we don't really have to worry about this. Elev is up. So as is up. So if the elevator is up and we've reached our time, we want to start moving down. All right, let's close this off, close off our if statement, and head over here and add our code. All we want to do in this situation is we want to once again trigger our elevator. All right, we're going to copy this, edit, copy. We want to trigger our actual elevator. So the actual elevator is going to start going down. We're going to trigger it. We want to set our elev is up to false, and we want to play our sound. Copy, and bam, paste. So elev is now going to be false, and we want to play our sound. That's it. That's all we want to do in this situation. Okay, let's file, save this. File, save, and see what we got. So let's move this out of the way. There are a couple of things that we do have to check. First of all, we want to make sure that our animation, sorry, I'm going to project. Got confused for a second there. Make sure that these loops are not on. We don't want this looping. We want the elevator to move to one position and stay there. And now that I think I named these backwards. Let's give it a try and see what happens. I think I named them backwards, but let's try. Jump. If the elevator is not where it's supposed to be, then I name them backwards. I did. So the elevator's up. I thought I did it wrong when I was naming it. The elevator's up. I don't want it to be up to start off with. I want the elevator to obviously start down. All I'm going to do to fix that is I'm going to change this and make it default. All right. I could rename these if I want to, but I'm pretty darn lazy, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to reverse this here. When I hit play now, the elevator should be in the right location. Let's try that now. Run. Let's make sure it's working. All right, so the elevator's not here. Good sign. Let's jump down there. And there is my elevator. Now, when I step on it, I should be able to go up. Great. And I should be able to jump off. Great. And after 5 seconds, my elevator should go down. All right, everyone. And it should stay down. It did. Perfect. So make sure that you've got your elevator set right here. Make sure you've got your reset time. I've set it to 5 seconds. Make sure you've got yourself a reset time of whatever you think is appropriate. Basically, what it's going to do is prevent your character from going up or down until a certain amount of time has passed. Watch what happens if I run on, and I'll just run over here, and I will jump on. I'll jump off. When I do, I'm stuck down here for 5 seconds. I could be surrounded by bad guys. After 5 seconds, my elevator comes back, and once again, I can keep on moving. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to do in this episode. I wanted to get that elevator working. I don't think the sound is high enough. I might turn the sound up a little bit. That's all I really wanted to do in this episode, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you guys are moving along with your own projects. We're going to move forward from here into creating our enemies and creating some more special effects. All right, guys? If you liked it, let me know down in the comments. If you didn't like it, a thumbs down is perfectly fine. Just let me know why. That way I can make changes to the episodes themselves so you guys can be benefiting from these. I know how to make these games, all right? Yes, I make some mistakes sometimes. But that's the way it goes, all right? That's all part of game design. So, guys, if I'm doing something wrong, let me know in the comments. Say, I don't like this, all right? Just don't give me a thumbs down because that doesn't help me at all. I can't make any changes at all that way. If you did like it, a thumbs down, a thumbs up is always appreciated, all right? I like thumbs up, and I like comments. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments down below, and if you haven't done so, please take a few seconds to subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.